Hey everyone! Welcome to Comic Chronicles. Absolute Wonder Woman is already on its 4th issue, and it's better than ever. The story continues with a more epic tone, kind of like God of War, and this results in epic battles, emotional moments between the main characters, tons of action, and one relentless Wonder Woman. Stick with me in this video cause we're diving into everything that went down in issues 3 and 4. Feel free to jump straight to the 4th issue or watch it all, cause I marked the timestamps in the video. Don't forget to drop your absolute like here on the video and hit that absolute subscribe button here on the channel. It really helps the video reach way more people on the platform, and you'll stay super informed about everything going on in the DC universe. Thanks a bunch, now let's get into the video. In Gateway City, at the Natural History Museum, people are catching the news about Wonder Woman battling Tetracide, a massive creature that showed up to wreck the city after Diana stopped some smaller creatures. Among the crowd at the museum was Barbara Minerva, who, for those who don't know, is the Cheetah from the Wonder Woman comics. She spots Diana on the news and takes off running. In the heat of this battle, Wonder Woman briefly retreats after casting a spell that slowed down Tetracide. Folks, this creature is really giving Diana a hard time, even the Amazon said it could kill her. Diana pulls back to the army's base of operations and says that Tetracide is pretty resistant to magic. Only Circe would be able to pull off more effective spells, but sadly, Diana's the only one who can handle this. She orders the army to evacuate the city and get all the residents out, but first, they need to hear about how Tetracide kills its victims, so that maybe, after Diana's defeat, they'll have a shot against the creature. Diana explains that the creature lures its victims to it. Tetracide emits an irresistible sound that makes victims feel drawn to it rather than scared. Once the victims get caught in its jaws, it devours them. That's why Diana insists everyone must run for it as fast as they can. Facing off against the giant beast again, Diana calls on Pegasus to attack, but to keep his distance, cause if he bites the dust, he can't be brought back. In a stunning action sequence, Diana throws her sword at Tetracide, but it's ineffective. Using her super speed, she whips out her lasso to restrain the creature while Pegasus blasts it with fire, but that doesn't do the trick either. The beast then grabs Diana with its tentacles, but Wonder Woman uses magic to summon a massive axe to cut some of the tentacles. Yo, these action scenes are so dope, just look at Diana summoning that axe. This moment was epic, but it would have been better if Tetracide hadn't restrained one of Diana's arms right afterwards. Just gotta say, I'm really digging the story. You can totally feel the threat level Tetracide brings, both from Diana's warning to the soldiers and its massive presence. The story then flashes back to the past to show more of Diana's time on Wild Isle when Steve Trevor was still in hell. Steve helps Diana by cutting the Hydra's tentacles with an axe kinda like the one we just saw. Once they fend off the Hydra, Diana talks to Steve about how creatures from hell understand her words. She mentions that some only get it through force, and this Hydra was super interested in Steve. Trevor also comments on how incredible this place is, that despite being filled with traps, pain, and problems, Circe and Diana managed to create a home, a little slice of paradise. Diana says that love is transformative, and Steve bemoans how people on the surface don't love each other enough, but still, he really misses home. Shortly after, Diana asks Steve to gather firewood so she can have a quick chat with her mom. Diana found a spell that could send Steve back to the land of the living, but Circe interrupts, saying that this magic involves a hefty sacrifice, so she shouldn't do it. Alright, folks, brace yourselves because something unexpected is about to go down. Circe wakes up in the middle of the night and notices Diana still awake by the fireplace. The Amazon says she can't stop thinking about the spell and that if she's a warrior who's meant to save humanity, she can't fail on her first mission, which is bringing back a great hero. She thinks that a decent man is all it takes to save the world. Diana believes Steve wasn't just a gift but a test, and if she's a true warrior, her dominant arm should be worthy of a sacrifice, revealing that she cut off her right arm as a sacrifice so that Steve could return to life. Then, Steve Trevor narrates that he underestimated Diana and had no clue about her capacity to love, let alone her capability for pain and sacrifice. Circe and Diana perform the spell and send Steve Trevor back to the world of the living, but without being able to say goodbye first. Back in the present, Diana recites an incantation that restores her right arm, and that's when we find out it was entirely made of magic. She shakes off Tetracide and heads back to the army's base. There, Diana explains that she lost her arm a long time ago, but her mom and she forged another one using magic, which could even be restored, but it'd require some complicated magic. Right after, Diana pulls out a fully functional mechanical arm from the magic bag where she got her sword and axe. Diana insists once again for everyone to get to a safe place. She even asks Steve to help get everyone out of the city. On her way out, Diana bumps into Barbara Minerva, the one who was at the museum at the beginning of the issue, but who took off running when she saw Diana on TV. Diana tells her that it's not a safe spot and she should come into the base and look for Steve Trevor. As Diana heads towards the battle, Barbara shouts calling her Wonder Woman, and that's where our protagonist adopts her superhero name. At first, Diana doesn't get the meaning, but Barbara explains that it's the title of the Amazon champion, the absolute best of them. She also mentions how she once wrote a paper on the myth of the Amazons, which was her first field of study, but the chat gets cut off by the noise made by Tetracide. Diana introduces herself to Barbara and takes off flying to face the giant monster once more. Thinking up a new strategy, Wonder Woman finds a way to stop the monster again. She pulls something out of her bag that looks like some kind of magical ingredient and heads over to the reporters covering the whole story. Diana then starts talking to everyone watching the news, saying that soon Tetracide, the terrifying giant monster, is going to emit a sound that will force everyone to sacrifice themselves for it, and to prevent that, Diana will use magic to temporarily make the entire city deaf. Wonder Woman urges them not to panic because she's there to save the city, but for that, she'll need everyone's trust to help keep those nearby safe. She wraps up by saying, "Wonder Woman believes in you," and then she's done. The Amazon then asks the reporters to broadcast this message on loop instead of airing Tetracide live. The warrior quickly starts her magic and renders all of Gateway City deaf, wrapping up issue 3. Moving on to issue 4, the story kicks off with two women watching Wonder Woman on the news. One of them, Etta, writes a note on paper for her sister and heads out to help others, but she's surprised by none other than Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman knocking at her door. Hey folks, for those who don't know or haven't realized, Etta is a well-known character in Wonder Woman stories. She even appeared in Gal Gadot's movie, where she was Steve Trevor's secretary. In the comics, Etta was introduced as Wonder Woman's best friend and her first gal pal in the world of men, but the character has been modified several times in the comics. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, Wonder Woman was rewritten, and so was Etta, who became Colonel Steve Trevor's personal aide, love interest, and eventually his wife. Following Flashpoint, Etta was reinvented again. Her marriage to Steve Trevor was undone, and she became a field commander at the Metahuman Defense Agency known as Argus. Etta again became one of the first friends Diana made in the modern world. But this time, Commander Candy's feelings leaned towards another mutual friend of Wonder Woman's, the brains and adventurous archaeologist Barbara and Minerva. But while Barbara returned Etta's feelings, their relationship was doomed by Dr. Minerva's transformation into Wonder Woman's arch-nemesis, the Cheetah. But now, in Absolute Wonder Woman, she and her sister are presented as witches, probably just selling magical ingredients. A cool detail in this moment is how Diana's character is portrayed. While she's this more intense version of Wonder Woman in a universe created by the force of hate, fueled by Darkseid's energy, Diana remains incredibly patient and kind. It's a detail shown in the first issue, but we can feel it again here. Even being a warrior from hell, she's compassionate and super sweet. Diana needs several ingredients to cast a spell. Cheetah, Etta's sister, finds everything she needs and hands it over to the Amazon. In a corner of the shop, Diana begins her magic using some blood that Steve Trevor volunteered to give her. Diana is then struck by a lightning bolt, and the story flashes back again to the past in Wild Isle, in hell. Circe runs frantically as she starts having visions of the future. The goddess Hecate appears to speak with her. While Circe questions why she supported Circe's exile to hell and was given the duty of caring for a child that wasn't hers, Hecate replies that everyone must make sacrifices, and the moment she realized Circe would even challenge her goddess to protect Diana, she knew everything that had happened was best for the world, for Diana, and for Circe herself. As she looks at Diana, who was still a child, Circe narrates that when she began having visions of Diana's future, she saw the grand plan of the goddesses for the Amazon and how lonely it would be for Circe to be trapped there without her. It was that night she began crafting her lasso, pouring in love, pain, magic, and fire. It will be called Sacrifice, and it would be transformative just like Diana's love, and it would also be a prison, just like Circe's love. Folks, that's one amazing monologue. I really love these monologue moments from Circe. Her understanding of her role in creating Diana and her love for her is something that's been portrayed so well in this comic. It's pretty emotional. Back in the present, Diana has recovered her magical arm. She thanks Steve, Etta, and Cheetah for their help, saying she's regained her strength. Etta hands Diana a cloth to wipe the blood off her face and mentions that she used to be a detective in Gateway City, but now she's only a private investigator. But anything Diana does seems way more awesome than what Etta does. Diana looks outside and sees Tetracide attacking the city. She quickly jumps into action to stop the creature. Wonder Woman flies to the sea and summons her sword, which comes back from the depths. Diana then pulls out another potion from her bag and tosses it to grab the creature's attention. The potion emits several agonizing screams, loud enough to draw Tetracide. Right after, Wonder Woman uses another spell to make her sword grow in size, and once it's as big as Tetracide itself, she manages to split the monster in half, finally winning the battle. Far away, at the White House in Washington, D.C., the president watches everything unfold in Gateway City and demands action from the woman who's also watching, named Kale. Folks, this is another well-known character from Wonder Woman's comics. Veronica Kale is a businesswoman and one of Wonder Woman's biggest enemies, and here she's part of the national security team. Kale remarks that if Wonder Woman killed that thing, then they still have a huge problem on their hands to deal with, wrapping up issue 4. Guys, what incredible issues! I'm really enjoying the direction of the story, and in my opinion, these issues keep getting better. The quality of stories in this absolute DC universe is impressive. So far, there hasn't been a bad story, and it gets me super excited for more comics featuring other DC characters from this universe. But now, I want to know your thoughts. Comment below with your opinion on Absolute Wonder Woman. Is it your favorite comic from the Absolute DC universe? Did you enjoy issues 3 and 4? Write it out in the comments. Tap that sphere, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications because tons of DC news are coming, and I'm bringing it all to you every day. So don't miss out, be part of our crew. To stay completely updated on everything in Absolute Wonder Woman, click on that playlist popping up on your screen. Thank you so much, and see you next time.